want to talk about the special order scene in Ratatouille. I know more of my videos are around anime, but this one also pops into my head all the time because a lot of the times when whatever we're doing and whatever we're going to be doing, there's going to be people that are going to have it out for us. Just like the chef, Gusteau's little short guy right here. He had it out for Linguini because he's like, you need to do this said thing.
Something we haven't made in a while, and they know about your stuff. They like Linguini.
And that's why I like the aspect of like people are going to be asking for like your special sauce and your special take, which is what I love what Remy does right here when he's like,
Now, Harriet.
so
Now, hurry up, our diners are hungry.
hold on.
Are you sure? That recipe was a disaster.
So like even if it's a disaster, and this is what I highly recommend you reframe in your reality and what I've done as well too, just because it's a disaster doesn't mean that it has to remain a disaster. And Remy, he knows that. Like when he's listening, right here.
Seaweed salt crust with cuttlefish tentacle, dog roll, chili,
like-
beef, duck egg, dried white fungus.
It's like Remy right there, you can tell it's a body language thing and it's cool to pick up on with them. These like he's like, there's got to be something else that I can do that's going to be better than what I have been doing because there's a way to make this recipe interesting because he knows, he's like, this is not a great recipe. This is not something that's good. So that's where he's like, I have to get creative in order to be able to do something. Linguini even thinks it's gross. Remy's smelling. He's like, all right, I got to come up with something else. And this scene right here too, I just love this whole thing where he just goes through just like finding his little things, finding his own way of doing it. Because like, just because one thing has been done one way in the past doesn't mean that it has to remain that way. You can create it and any recipe that you want by adding your own secret sauce. That's what I try to do. It's what I have been doing with these videos. It's what I hope you're doing with your life as well too right now. Because the more you create those secret recipes and those secret sauces, like you have to have the courage also to be willing to possibly make a mistake. But the great part about this is when this happens, because people will tell you not to do certain things, but then when you do, because you have trust in yourself, you have faith, you have confidence in yourself and your abilities to know what is good and what is not good.
What's going on, Zudo? I love it. Oh, Sopranos are already asking about it. About Linguini. I have 7 more orders. That's wonderful.
So it's like, this is what I love is just because like somebody doesn't think it's gonna be right and you're people, okay. So sometimes you might be set up to fail. In actuality, you're not being set up to fail. You just have to come up with a different creative way or solution to be able to solve said problem. Because as you saw at the beginning of the video, Linguini was set up to fail with a recipe that even the famous chef Gustavo ended up saying wasn't a good recipe. And what did Linguini do? Remy ended up doing to be able to overcome that. He became creative. He thought outside of the box. He came up with a different recipe, a different way. He improvised with the ingredients that he had on hand to create a new dish that nobody else had ever considered. And from doing so, he ended up making the rest of the diners, everybody else that was in the restaurant, happy because he ended up using and turning a failure into a success. That's exactly what you can do as well too. You can turn a failure into a success by using your own creativity, your own inspiration, your own stories, your own angles to be able to present something that may have once been a failure by somebody else and create it into something that is a true everlasting success, which is a special order that everybody will be interested in because it is you and it is not somebody else.